Welcome to Can't Draw Horses Club. I'm
Hi,
Corey, and joining me today is Adsy.
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 It's me. I'm one half of Adsy and Jane Comics, the Adsy half.
Did we just split like a webcomic in two so that we could
I mean, we
both?
have two web comics, but if I was gonna take either one of them alone, you'd wonder where the art went. I think we talked about this last time. It's like if Jane goes away, you don't notice anything except there's no punctuation. Sorry, other way around. If Adsy goes away, no punctuation. If Jane goes away, everything is stick figures all of a sudden.
It works for XKTV.
Yeah. And well, also I would have no editorial override, which is a problem.
So just fully unfiltered.
A lot of stuff doesn't make it into the comics.
Thank you everyone who supports the show and others on the Twitch through Twitch, YouTube, Patreon, Loading Ready Run, store, the things where the money goes, and then the money gets here, and then we get lights.
Yeah. You could also just throw it, like tie it to a brick and throw it at the office on the way
Just
past,
put it
not
in
into
a
the office.
glass bottle, not plastic, and throw it in the ocean.
Oh, you love the ocean?
I love the ocean.
Tell me, yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
How many brands of car batteries you throwing into it?
Look, I don't own a car, but if I did, I know where car batteries go. It's
The ocean.
Yeah. Where else are you supposed to put them?
Yeah.
So we don't have a slideshow today because Adsy's just gonna like freewheel this. We're unscripted,
I'm gonna
unrestrained, unleashed, no editorial oversight.
Yes, finally, I'm free. Just evaporate out of my chair. So I will start with a brief overview of what we're doing. So sometimes it's nice to be able in an RPG session or just for your own edification to hand something to your players. So we're going to be making one of these, which is like, imagine you're at the table and your players are like, oh, so we need to get from here to here. How do we do that? And you just go, like this, and just mic drop a real actual piece of paper
and
in
then
front
they're
of
like,
them.
I can't read, and
Yeah. So today we'll be making something that looks like.
Oh, I'm gonna take you over to the show and tell. So there you go. You're big. Ooh,
that.
It's upside down.
So
Or
it's upside down.
Your mountains are
inverted mountains. This is so. I really want to do that now. I want to draw a map of the Underdark or whatever, where the mountains are that way up.
So you're the upside down.
Yeah. Yeah. So we're going to be talking about how this is built, how we make the basic shapes, and where we put things to make it look not realistic as such, because realism is not always what you're looking for, but something that feels right. Because role-playing game, it's a map of Australia.
That explains why it's upside down, yes.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Fantasy Australia, also known as the actual Underdark.
TXC2, mountains don't go down, they only go uppy.
What about in Australia? Are you suggesting National Geographic lied to me?
No. Who am I to argue with a magazine? Everything in magazines is true, and the internet. The end.
Something hit my hard filter there. I'll tell you that one on the break.
Thank you. So where do we start?
We start here.
There we go. Yeah. Oh!
Oh! I have my nice piece of map here. I have my pencil, which is all I'm going to need for now. We have Lysander.
I don't own Vellum.
If you don't own Vellum, that's fine. If you don't have the skins of your enemies to flay and peel off and tan, store-bought is fine. Otherwise, just paper. I just have nice vellum because I make a lot of things, and as a things maker, it's nice to have some things.
You can have nice things, yeah.
The first thing we do is it's time for rice. Amazing.
Ah!
Yep.
All of it?
All of it.
Oh god.
Oh, actually, you don't have as big a piece of paper as me, so it's fine
too
though.
late.
Okay, so now we have a lump.
I do have a lump.
So take your hand
and
just smoosh it.
Smoosh. Yes.
Create some islands, create some bays.
So not just a pancake.
Nah, not just a pancake. Like, there are going to be holes appearing. Just widen those out a little bit, because lakes are a thing that exist.
Sure.
You know, if there's an area that's a bit thick, I'm maybe going to like pull it off and create like a little archipelago or something. There we are. So that's what I'm starting from here.
I'm pretending that I know what I'm doing.
Hey, me too. And now take your pencil and just start drawing around it. It is as simple as that. And you don't have to be very precious about getting it like exactly to the grain of rice. Just
no grain of rice will be disturbed by the passage of my line tool.
What is your lining tool of choice?
A pencil that I grabbed.
Yeah, same.
Yeah, I do like these pencils. It's the Murado Classic Black.
This is just a off the FedEx rack mechanical pencil that I have packs and packs of because I run D&D games, and that means that everyone forgets to bring a pencil all of the goddamn time.
Right.
Okay.
No, I'm one of those bag people that just keeps everything that I need or could possibly need in a bag that stays with me for over a decade.
In a Crown Royal bag?
No. No, a messenger bag.
Can I tell you a fun story that I mention every time I'm talking about D&D and dice bags?
Go for it.
So when I first arrived in the US, because we don't have Crown Royal back in the UK, I legitimately thought that Crown Royal was a dice bag maker. And technically I wasn't incorrect. It just comes with a free bottle of discount whiskey.
Alright, what do I do about these lakes?
So we're going to draw around those two.
Alright, I'll get in there.
And if you've got any little islands outside or any like individual grains of rice on the inside of your lakes, just draw around those too. I have this like little clump here that I'm going to draw around. And I've got some clumps up here that I want to draw around. And there's this big, weird, spidery mess over here. All right, and once you've decided that you can no longer add any more weird details to anything, it's time to put away our rice.
Oh,
let's see what we've got. I see. I'm sure it's fine because this is why I use a loose piece of paper. I feel dumb for not mentioning this now. Take a loose piece of paper. That way you can do this.
Nah, I'll be fine.
And it all nominally goes back in the jar.
It's gonna go back in somewhere. Oh
Where
god.
It knows what it's
oh
done.
no! This was a bad idea. All right. We're
And you'll have
reversing.
something.
We're reversing. I'm
looks.
just gonna tear this piece of paper
God,
off.
wow, you can't see it, so
No,
just gonna have to draw around it.
it's the problem with pencil and cameras and stuff.
Yeah,
If
that's
you've got
okay,
like a
because
Sharpie, then that'll do.
yeah, I have a black felt tip here, which I use for outlining. So
Okay.
we're gonna use that next to just go over our outlines, and if we see any details we don't like, just draw around them. You want the barest tip of that felt tip pen, if you're using, or Sharpie if you're using one, to just touch the paper.
All right, it all went back in the container.
Canada's response to Jack Daniels.
Okay. So I'm using a marker. I'm
Yep.
marking some lines.
It's gonna go over your pencil lines. I normally do this at a later step, but I'm doing it now because otherwise it's going to be terrible TV.
Boop-a-doop-a-doop.
Once again, just very lightly touching. I'm looking at like where rivers and things are going to go, and I'm thinking all I can think of is that Baldur's Gate song, which lives rent free in my head forever.
Uh-huh.
If I sing it out loud, we might get copyright struck, and I don't want that
Oh
for you.
yeah, that's a real risk that you should consider.
Yeah. Look, anything I do that damages the channel means that I
Right.
don't get to come back and do this again.
It's true. So true.
It also might mean that Beach sends me a severed head in the mail or something.
It sounds expensive. Like, how much does a head weigh? Like 10 pounds? Like, they don't make boxes the right.
You know what?
And there's a lot of
I've googled weirder
fluids.
things.
The problem with heads is that they're not just a solid mass.
11 pounds.
I was close.
More than your head weighs more than you probably did as a child.
That's what they want you to think.
The big hospital, big maternity.
Yeah.
Big baby.
Yeah, you're in the pocket of big baby. Thinking your skull's gotten bigger than it would when
Oh God.
you've seen baby heads. They're huge. They can't possibly get bigger.
Look, I don't know what the media's gonna tell you, but baby heads is huge.
Just
My-
ask anyone who's given birth. They'll tell you.
Baby heads look massive to me. You should buy my supplements. And that is the only impression I'm going to do of that person.
Now I'm still thinking, just giant, angry baby trying to sell you supplements. I'm a
That just
baby.
sounds-
Eat rhino
sounds-
pills.
Rhino pills.
Extra carrot, it'll help your fontanelle close.
Guaranteed 500% real imitation rhino. I don't know what imitation rhino is. However, I will be selling it on our Etsy store, which we don't have. Do not look for our Etsy store.
But now that you've got all this merchandise planned, it's the logical next step.
The merch is the fallback option.
Right.
As soon as we can figure out how to pay all of Jane's bills, it's over for everyone. Because unfortunately, I like my real world job, so. Quote unquote.
Squared up cube. That's a beautiful typo. Imitation rhino meat is just recooked beef jerky.
Beef jerky. No if.
Also, Iris of Ether. So you calculated the holding capacity of a tensor's floating disk. It's about 1 gallon.
Of what? 1 gallon
What?
of imitation rhino? Now we're cooking with gas.
I mean, you want to cook it with gas.
You
gotta liquefy it first.
Do not ever put imitation rhino on a conduction stove. Like, it will mess everything up.
They
You gotta
do go
cook
great
with
in your air fryer.
good, clean propane. Only.
Yep. Gas stove only.
Alright. So you got your island? I got my island.
Yeah.
So now we get more rice. Not the whole thing this time.
Oh my god. This is complicated.
Read the title of the stream down there.
It's fine. It's
Right there.
It's fine.
World building with a cup of rice. You think this is the only time I was going to use rice?
Yes.
Corey?
What do I do?
Thorskar, I'm prepared. I ain't scared. So we're just going to take a little bit. Just a little handful.
Pinchy.
Just a pinchy, and then just drop it in areas. Try and make like lines with it if you can, but masses are fine too.
What if it just scatters?
Skill issue. If it just scatters, because mine's a little scattered here as well. I'm just gonna do this.
You scooting it?
Yeah, just to scoot it up into like lines and piles.
Lines
Keeping the inherent randomness of the rice, but like just letting it have a little bit of structure. That's going to be some interesting ones. If there's some empty points you want to add maybe a little more, go for it. Dealer's choice, really, how few or many you want to add.
No, this is easy now that I've taken the paper out of my notebook. I'm no longer
I'm so
panicking.
sorry. I wish I'd mentioned that beforehand.
You know, there was an easy solution.
Yeah. Okay, so then take your pencil, and instead of drawing around it this time, we're just going to draw the mountain straight in. So just draw. You know how to draw mountains. It's basically an M that doesn't quit, right?
That's where we get the name from.
Mountains. Yeah, kind of shove the rice aside.
Yeah, I'm shoving.
Rice shove in with Corey and Adzi.
Woo! The hot new game show on Loading Ready Run.
Just trying to imagine the inevitable featherweight graphic for that.
Featherweight, can you hear me? I need a graphic quickly.
Please don't awaken featherweight on my account.
What?
They are far too talented to be wasted on my nonsense. That's what I have Jane for.
Oh, you should see what sort of crap I send Featherweight on a daily basis. Complaints about how the book I read has ended.
Oh, what book were you reading that ended?
Every book.
Every
bad
book?
part, and then you're in this zone where you don't have a book to read. And I know Featherweight understands that pain.
Yeah, you know what? Mood.
Oh, I put the rice back in. Was it? Is it supposed to stay out or?
What? Yeah, no, you're supposed to put the rice back in.
Right.
That's
good.
You're a step ahead of me because my map is bigger because I decided to go much larger for no reason. All right, and then just for the sake of TV viewers, we'll take the Hey, you're already doing it. There you go.
Yeah, I'm cheating.
Take the marker and just go over your lines.
See, this is why I was a problem student in school. Like, lessons so slow. Not
You
that
know what
you're
I've
slow.
you know what I learned as a kid? That there are very few bad students and a whole lot of bad teachers. Oh,
I think
that went quiet.
overall, mine were fairly good. There was one statistics professor that really should have retired.
He was a statistics professor. He doesn't get to. I'm pretty sure they were actually dead and just haunting the school.
Yeah, yeah. He went
Sounds like
kayaking one summer, and I was just like, "Oh my god, he's died, and he's been replaced with just a worse version of himself. He's been possessed by his own ghost, just animating his corpse."
Man, it was a great year until Mr. Evans' bit started falling off. Gesticulating wildly in front of his graphs, and then his hand just flies off and hits Marvin in the back of the room. Real funny though.
You know the story about the dog that sees its own reflection, and it's got a bone in its mouth, and it barks at the reflection, and it drops the bone in the water. We had a prof that liked to joke that had happened to him, but it was his sense of humor that fell out. Yeah. School's fun.
School's fun. See, I don't remember the crappy parts of school that much, probably because I've repressed it and deleted it with years of alcohol. But the bits I do remember are just like, yeah, I understand why people told me at the time that school was the best years of my life. They were still wrong. But like, yeah, I get it. All right. So now we've got our Meowantins. I hope people are having fun. Mountains. Sorry, I'm catching up with the chat.
All right.
Okay, yeah, pay teachers more. Thank you, Juliamon. So now we're going to grab little tiny bits of rice, just like the individual grains.
And got just one, and then
leave them wherever.
Just wherever, one at a time.
Yep. One at a time. It's
gonna take a while.
Well, you're not covering the whole map. All right, yeah, take individual grains of rice and then put them back into the shape of your map. Welcome to Can't Draw Horses Club, where Adzi gives Corey Zen riddles for hours.
Just one koan after another. Okay, how many of these do I want?
As many or as few as you like, because we're going to be using these to draw rivers.
Okay.
So.
Oop, it stuck to my finger and it's gone now.
Yeah, you can kind of see them on mine, kind of.
Kind of.
Yeah. Oh yeah, great on yours. So now what we're going to do is we're going to take our pencil and we're going to play connect the dots. Now when drawing rivers, obviously rivers flow from high to low. They hit mountains and they run down it in like
go right up the cliff.
Yeah. Sometimes, if the rock is especially porous, they'll go underground until they hit a rock that isn't porous enough, and then you get an underground river.
A fun cave you shouldn't go into.
Yeah, don't go into the white cave. You know what? Just don't go into caves. Don't go into the hole in the ground. Came out the hole in the ground. There is literally nothing there for you in the hole. Stay out of the holes. Don't go in the hole. That's where people die.
Anyways, so from high to low.
And you see where there's like these little dags like in from the side.
Little inlets kind of thing.
Oh, yeah. So those inlets, because water likes to erode the places it goes. We'll connect those like that to mountains. So you're going from rice to mountain, or from rice to rice, or from rice to lake.
Okay.
And you can get as weird with it as you like.
Rice to mountain.
And the reason I do this is because I ended up developing a north-south bias when drawing rivers. Like you always want to draw them like down, because your brain's like, ah, yeah, gravity, right, got it. Except that's not how. Gravity doesn't run north to south. So.
Why not? No one knows.
Yeah, no one actually knows what gravity is or where it comes from. Scientists in the chat will back me up. TXT2. As is very correct. Stay out of the caves. Yeah, don't go in the hole. It's not your hole. It was not made for you. Stay out of it.
Didn't know there'd be so many rules today.
Look, this is what you get. All the rules just wrong. No, once again, we had another hard filter joke there. I'm just gonna bank that one for the commercial break where I can tell it to you in private.
I would just immediately forget them.
Nah, they queue up to go somewhere else.
Just they form an orderly queue.
This is how I avoid running out of ideas when writing. I take the off-color stuff I can't say in mixed company and say it in writing after I've let it cook for a bit. Writers in chat, you know who you are. Back me up on this.
Yeah, if you identify as a writer, we're looking for some support here.
Even if you identify as a can of cheese, I'll take it honestly. Like, just what's the word? Validate me here.
Ah.
Speaking of jokes that always land, I forget what it was, which episode of like Commodore Hustle or whatever it was, but the can you validate my parking? Yeah, your parking is excellent. Thank you.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah, it's a very good joke.
Yeah.
It plays well everywhere. Because if there's anything that unites the human race perfectly, it's that we all believe we're above average drivers and parkers. I can hear the face you're making.
Yeah, the point of the car is to go very fast, right?
As fast as possible.
As fast as possible, and signage around intersections don't apply
purely optional,
to me.
Purely optional.
Yeah, in particular. So
yeah, see, Corey gets it. She's
I get it.
Driver.
Yeah, I'm a great driver.
All right, I think that's enough rivers for me.
So you finally had enough.
I finally had enough of the wet.
Enough wets, more dry. We have to dry our wets.
Too much long wet.
All right, so we marker these.
Yes, but I'm going to use a blue marker for it because I have a blue marker. I just added some extra mountains and I wanted to draw them in.
Don't have a blue marker.
Skill issue? If you don't have a blue marker,
okay.
Black and white is fine.
Yeah, that's what we're getting here.
Oops. And if, like me, you're a clown and decide to use a chisel tip marker because you couldn't find the round tip ones, then be careful.
Variable width rivers.
Yeah, I mean, they tend to get wider at the end. The joke that's going in the back there.
No, I know. You don't have to. That was...
I make a line of...
Uh-huh. Whoa.
So I just saw Catco say. Most rivers do in fact have a flared base, especially deltas. I was responding to chat. That one wasn't on me. They started it.
Yeah, we call that part the mouth.
Can I talk about a weird, stupid thing in British? Not stupid, I guess. It's cultural. Like town naming conventions. Is that they're like at least in Devon, where I grew up, there are like different naming conventions around the titles of towns as they relate to the closest river.
All right.
So, like, there's a place called Exeter,
Yes.
which is just a tor on the River Exe, which is just a big granite hill.
Getcha.
There's Exmouth, and there's Exe, which is just another place that's on the River Exe. There's also Sidmouth, Dartmouth, Bournemouth.
And these are
Portsmouth?
in the mutts?
Yeah, these are all mouths of rivers.
All right. Yeah, in Canada, we just name things after British stuff.
That's all right. In America, they just name things Washington and then give up, or Springfield.
Or after French places, like Montpellier.
Yeah.
But then they pronounce it weird.
Montpelier.
Yeah. Anyone from Vermont in chat? Are we pronouncing that correctly?
Knowing French is somewhere between my second and fifth language. I suppose that should offend me somehow.
No. The French know what they did.
Paul was I was watching Paul play Super Mario Wonder before this, and he had the voice settings set to Canadian French. And I was like, I don't think that's Quebecois because no one's sworn like up a blue streak yet. I just want to imagine that the Quebecois version of Mario Wonder is just Yoshi constantly swearing.
So, like, in a lot of places in Canada, swearing is like punctuation, but yeah,
Oh, yeah.
the Quebecers just so casually just
Like, to those who haven't been around Canadian French speakers, especially rural Canadian French speakers, there is a point at which you start to recognize Quebec is to French as Australian is to English.
Yep.
It's not only punctuation, it's also the spaces.
Where a breath would go.
Yeah. Hurt. All right, so now we have our mountains and our rivers.
Yes.
So now what comes next?
Outer space.
Yes. We've added the space. It's up here somewhere.
Good. We did
And
it.
now, trees.
Trees. All right.
So green. So
I do have green.
this is where I stop and think, okay, where do the trees go? And there are two types that I tend to draw, which is if there's a river and it's near mountains and kind of halfway between the mountains and the sea where all the good nutrients pile up, then we get trees like this. Because there's good soil. So like a little kind of half arrow is how I draw my trees.
Little half arrow. Just a little hat.
So, yeah, it's an arrow with it's like a line with a little daggy hat on it.
A little hat.
And then if I'm looking at an area where there's no mountains but a lot of surrounding river,
Right.
that's the kind of place where the ground's more loamy, so you're going to get like a marsh or a swamp, and that's where I do the V's.
Is it a different arrow hat?
It's just a V, like that. I don't know if you can see it because my camera's not. Oh, I drew them in the exact point you couldn't see them.
Yep.
So yeah, like
Okay.
that.
I gotcha.
So this is how we add our swamps and how we add our forests. And then in between those, we have plains. We already have mountains, and we've got islands. So this world is now playable in Magic. It's like, well, Addy, you've drawn this awfully quickly. What are you going to do with the other 2 hours? Wait and see, Bucko, because world building is not just building the world.
What? What?
We're going to talk about where people live and why they choose to live there.
Unlikely.
No, I sent you the email. I pitched full world building with pictures.
With pictures.
And I also promised in the first time we were on here that I would never just make you look at a blank sheet of paper. So
I don't
we'll be
remember that.
exploring all kinds of things. You don't remember that?
No. It's all gone. It's all
Like
empty.
from,
I mean, it's the galaxy brain over here. It's mostly empty space. Like, more than regular matter.
That's good. Galaxy brain is mostly empty. What kind of people do you want to put in your world? While we're just adding trees.
People.
Yeah.
People. Kind of people.
Let me
people.
Swamp people. Like, do you want to just make it common or garden humans? Do you want to add fancy races in there? Do you want to steal from Tolkien or Slavic fiction or any part of Southeast Asia? Like, that's kind of what I'm usually thinking about when I'm putting marshes and forests in. Trying to think about where people would live and why they would choose to live there.
Yeah, TXE2. Good people. Nice people. People who help others. People who build a better world. Sexy people.
So, one kind of elf, another kind of elf, another kind of elf, another kind of elf, and tieflings.
Yeah, we can fit like Azamar in there and get wingy elves and fish elves.
Yeah, fish elves. A world populated entirely by adjective elf or noun elf. You ever read Earthworld? Like when that was that? Yeah. Love the elves in Earthworld. Especially the way they ended up with like convergence of puns. Like the knights who live inside this the head of the statue called Jed and call themselves the Jedi Knights because that's where their view comes from. The Juggle Elves drinking Faygo.
Yep.
Yeah. Top marks. All right. The sexy people are bearded women dwarves. Oh, all right. I can get behind that. All right. So we've got our mountains, we've got the lakes, we've got the forests, we've got the marshes.
Yep.
Now, the final thing I'd like to add before we continue on to like big sociology is where, if I were a people, where would I live? And I used red markers for this. And I'm going to figure out like what is a really great place to live and just put a dot there. So, for instance, right here, you've got mountains, a lake, and a forest right next to each other.
Right.
So you've got drinking water, building supplies of both kinds. And you've got a river and a like thing for trade, so probably right there is going to be one. Probably one here too for the same reason. Probably one up here.
Oh god.
Frontiers.
Oop. Well, now I have people in the ocean.
They know what they did.
My paint marker dripped.
Remember, there's no such thing as mistakes, just happy accidents.
Just a really wet marker.
You've just got a sea-bound society now.
I'll give them a little island.
I'm trying to go like between 7 and 10, so I've got 7 already. I'm gonna get greedy and put another group down there. All right.
Yeah,
Sorry,
it's,
Yeah, it is just a well-generated Dwarf Fortress. This is similar to the algorithm Dwarf Fortress uses, honestly.
Yeah.
Did you just draw an island around the dot?
Yes!
Peak building. That is the Canadian ingenuity that kept the Avro arrow in the sky. I forgot the Avro arrow was the one they didn't make.
A little bit of a pain point there.
Oh no, I didn't mean to. That's the kept Nortel. I fuck.
Nortel. Why like this? I came to have fun. Which what? which company have you picked now?
I just said that the can-do engine that took Vimy Ridge. Oh god.
Yep. Yep. That'll
Look,
give
I
you.
mean, if we're going after moral.
Oh my god! I dripped again. Putting that away before I get myself.
Look, remember, kids, if we're going after moral high ground, remember that I have none. I'm from the UK, a society built on stealing things from other people.
People are like, this belongs in a museum, and the British were like, hell yeah.
Like, people joke, but it's actually a true and real fact. The only reason the pyramids are still in Egypt was because they couldn't figure out how to get them home.
They did, make off with a number of reliefs, though.
Mm-hmm. They sure did, and
large pieces of rock.
Mm-hmm. As did the French, as did the Belgians, as did everyone who passed through Egypt. Was like, huh, amazing piece of ancient culture. Well, I'm just going to take this away from its context and remove all of its value as a piece of culture. So,
why does Corey's have a butt crack? That's a river. If I had blue, you would be able to tell.
It's a good river. It's a dummy thick river. All right. So we talked about people. I'm gonna make a note on the side of my map now. Let's call this a key.
Oh.
To figure out where people live. So, I mean, humans just exist in every setting because you need a touchstone. You need a benchmark. And although I hate the idea of humans being like the average species anywhere, because there are things that humans are really good at that probably other species wouldn't be.
Like getting stuff off shelves.
Yeah, we can run. We could just run forever.
Yeah, we can do that. Definitely. I agree. The humans can just run forever.
I mean, we put all of our points into communication, and that was our min-max, was communication and warfare, which requires a lot of communication, as it turns out. It's like the most cooperative thing we do is that. So, say humans. Let's just go with elves. I'm gonna make this a standard fantasy setting. I'm not gonna mess around too much because we're making something for everyone here. So we've got humans, elves. Ideas?
Yep, just ideas that are corporeal. You know, a setting for everyone.
Concept forms.
Ooh, concept forms. That's good.
That's what you said.
Yeah, but that's not what I called them.
Giants? Oh yeah, hell yeah, giants. I like to have bird people in there.
Whoa, striders, such as goats. Goats and swamps walkers.
Yes. Long people.
They're long, like, front to back? Or...
Okay, that was a joke, but I'm putting that in. Long people. That's just a kind of giant, though, right?
No, that's what I'm asking. Are they long front to back? Like,
what do you think, Maddie? Yes, you came over here, so it's time to go into the exploitation chair.
Mm-hmm.
This is Maddie. This is my eldest daughter.
Is she going to school? Is she making money for herself?
No, she is a wretched freeloader.
Oh.
She's our in-house cryptid. She appears when she likes to and when it's time to eat. Which is not for another 2 hours, so please don't bullshit me in front of the internet. But it is very nice to see that you came here to say hi. Good girl. You getting down now? You gonna chill out? You're gonna chill out, alright. That's why I have to use a lint roller every time I come on scene. That's not true, I don't use a lint roller. I just let her have a cameo in every video. That joke's stolen from Milo Rossi. You're welcome. So we have... No, Maddie, that...
Yep, uh-huh.
Mm-hmm.
Were you working there by any chance?
Yeah.
Because now it's cat butt. See, one of our maps has a butt now. And
wow,
it's not mine.
You are a sociopath. Get your tail off my map, thank you. So, Madeline, please. Okay, I love you. You've had your time in the spotlight. Go play. Okay, so long people, which I'm considering like being like striders or just humans with stilts.
Yes, long people.
That's mine. This is mine. That's also mine. Ow! Draft-based centaurs.
Chat, you've all watched Centaur World, right? So you just want like Derpledons? Slender folk.
Slender folk.
Best dressed in the continent.
That's what I'm changing that name to now, is Slender folk. That is way better. I shouldn't be encouraging chat, but I'm going to encourage chat because that's funny and I like it. And it creates some interesting things to go in. So, we've got 6 different groups of people. What do we put them? Because we've marked our areas here. So, I mean, humans live where it makes the most sense to, because we have all sorts of biological needs and we need to be near things. So I'm going to say that this is a human settlement over here.
How do you indicate that?
I'm going to pop a quick H on it in pencil. That way we all know it's filled with hornets. That way I know that we can update that.
Yeah, just a little red flag, just stick it in the ground. Yeah. We know the hornets live here, yep. Warn all the kids not to play soccer.
There's an island out here, and I like to put elves where they can't be a problem for anyone else for a long time. Our concept forms. I'm going to leave our concept forms for our second age. What do you mean, Ansi? What do you mean second age?
What do you mean second age? Is it bigger H? Is it smaller H?
So, age. AGE. Not H, as in the H we put on there for humans and or hornets. So what I'm doing now is I'm basically just throwing down I realized that I probably should have written past this in my thing. I thought the building the map would take longer. I'm sorry. Uh, so what we're doing now is we're kind of seeding the ground for when we're going to start writing our legends and things to build everything out.
Yeah.
So concept forms I'm going to save for later because I feel like concept forms are a result of a problem or a calamity.
All right.
Um,
Long people go in the swamp.
Yep, long people go in the swamp, so slender folk. Pop a quick H in there. Giants go in the mountains because they're big folk. They need big things. So
I'm
put that
putting my
over here.
birds near trees.
Oh, heck yeah. I'm putting my bird people over here. Yep, slender folk are going to be... Yeah. And that's everyone. I've got everyone down for now. So our first stage, we've seeded where our kind of primary groups are starting off. So not all of them are going to be marked out. So we've passed through our general. Here, so you see a dwarf and a slender person love each other very much. We didn't put dwarves in here.
The giants now.
They're giants now. What setting is it? I think it's Arcanus, where the dwarves used to be really big, and then they ended up being cursed by a god, so now they're smaller than everyone else, which is why their palaces are so massive, because the
Used to
curse
be
will be
big.
broken. Yeah, in their law, the curse is broken when someone produces something something of perfect quality that can be given to the gods. And at that point, the curse will break for every dwarf, so they make sure to build everything as big as possible, just in case it happens in their lifetime. It's also where you get religious fundamentalist dwarfs talking about the embiggening, and it's fantastic writing. Yeah, cool myth, right? A hug and embrace. 62. Jail. Jail.
Half of chat already needs to be in jail. It's fine.
Yeah, not even like, yeah, half of
They
chat
could
is
be. They
getting-
could be posting from jail.
Yeah, half of chat is going on an island outside of San Francisco. You're not getting the nice jail chat. You know where you're going.
We're gonna be doing kickflips off that island.
Yeah. Some sweet ska tunes in the background. In fact, forget the jail. Let's just give them a Tony Hawk's Park to play in. I'm so old.
What does that make me?
I was under the assumption that like I was either older than you or we were the same age.
We'll never know.
We'll never know because I'm not going to tell everyone my age online in this space right now. You can find it on my OnlyFans.
Right next to your Etsy store.
Right next to my Etsy store.
Alright.
Alright. I'm trying to vamp for time because I can see we're very
Oh.
close to a break and I don't
Yeah,
want
we
to
can just take the break right now.
Okay. Sweet. I have the box ready.
Wait, here. Can you just bring it closer to the... Oh!
Yeah.
Oh no, yeah, we should definitely go on commercial break.
Here we go.
Ready?
Ready.
Welcome back, everybody, to Can't Draw
Alright.
Horses Club. I'm
The
Corey.
bees are back in their box.
The bees
I'm
are back in the
Madsy.
box. Yeah. And we're doing some world building with a
We
cup of
are.
rice that's over here haunting me now.
Yeah, the cup of rice knows what you did.
Doesn't smell
Wait.
like anything, which is good. Just giving it a little...
Oh, that came out really well on camera.
So, back to... I was like gonna slam my hand on it and was like, no, there's live paint.
Live paint. Okay, so we talked about like ages a little bit before break because I got flustered and realized I was ahead. So let's talk about the construction of a world from zero. So we've got our peoples, we've kind of seeded the ground a little bit. We've not bothered so much about wondering how they got there because that's for later
Well, the
us,
birds
right?
flew.
Yeah. The bird flu. Yeah, I've heard the buzz. So the birds flew in, the giants came up out of the ground, the slender folk like, tiptoed over across the ocean
Yeah,
because
very
that's
long
weird.
legs.
Yeah. And now we figure out like where they would go and how they would get there and when they would meet. So if we take Corey's map to begin with, I'm just gonna lean over. Oh, you did multiples and everywhere. You didn't leave any places open.
I left one because you said.
Okay.
You were too slow. It's my fault.
I'm sorry.
I can erase too.
Sure.
Don't need so many bird places.
Too many birds in this place.
All right.
So we're going to take a quick trip into GCSE sociology. So what everyone else calls like high school level, I guess, sociology. How do cities get built?
It's top to bottom.
Yeah, from the roof down, like spiders.
From the north to the south.
Yeah. Cities get built because they're a convenient place for a bunch of people to gather together and swap stuff around, right? Trade is kind of the basis of how civilizations kind of build themselves. So you find a really good place to live, and you just sort of hang out there. Like this is why like some of the largest cities because we're working like this is a European map, hence like no deserts, no like alpine super Arctic areas, not alpine areas. We've got alpine areas.
No tundra. The permafrost doesn't enter this.
No permafrost, no like we've got a very equatorial kind of Mediterranean European like Western European kind of area. I'm obviously working off of England because that's what I know. Yeah, if it's a Bronze Age city from the bottom up, literally, right? Like, so like the biggest cities in like Europe that we're working from here, like London, like Paris, like even like Berlin, are places where if you dig down deep enough, you'll find like Bronze Age remains.
Yeah.
Because people have just been hanging out in this one area because there's a river here, there's a forest here, there's some good metals here. Jim who looks after his sheep is like a day's walk away. We're in the middle of everything. It's great here. This is a great place to live. So you kind of end up with places where people produce things and then places where people kind of grow things they can swap for the things that are produced. It's what you call primary and secondary level trade. And then we get to tertiary and quaternary and things like that.
And then we're way out of Canada.
Yeah, we're not
None of that here.
Well, now I'm sad. Like I've been, I accidentally got myself immersed in like the kind of trade policies of Canada thanks to that one like Nortel video from not Folding Ideas, but the other channel that does like infographics, and I was just like, oh man, just getting completely like shafted in every direction.
CPG Grey?
Yeah, no, not CGP Grey either.
Not the one that's impossible to pronounce. Like, there's no way they would have covered trade. Oh well.
Rain. It was a video on like how Nortel happened.
Yeah.
And it started from the beginning, like when Canada started to exist, it came into existence with a massive cultural juggernaut to itself, which was kind of a problem for like when it became not a colony, which was kind of a problem for like making sure things like CanCon existed so it wouldn't be eaten.
Yep,
That's
works
it.
great. Works every time.
Yeah, worked every time. I'm sure it's absolutely fine now. Like,
Oh yeah. Definitely got our own distinct culture. Totally.
so when we're talking about scale, we're talking about like uh the distance that a person from whatever culture can walk in a day.
Right.
That's kind of the furthest out that you're going to find places like markets. I don't think it was Kurzgeschacht?
That is the one that's hard to pronounce that
Kurzgeschacht.
I mentioned because he said infographics. And they do.
Kurzgeschacht. I
Kurzgesagt.
don't know how to. Kurzgeschacht. That's not it. No, I just I had a new fun word to pronounce, and so I had to try. So eyeball it from here. Like, how far do you think a giant could walk away from what we're going to call Giant Town in a day? Probably quite some distance, as giants have good legs.
2 to 3 times have further than a human. Welcome,
Yeah.
Raiders.
Welcome, Raiders, from Surge. Hi.
Yeah, we're doing world building, so we're just
doing
trying to
world
figure
building.
out where people can walk.
Yeah.
From where they are.
Hi, Surge. I I hope you're having a great time in Alberta. I hear it's lovely.
Oh, is that where he is?
Is that not where he is?
I have no idea. Unless he's here.
Awful lot like again the quiet year. Yeah, it does look like a quiet year. I may have cribbed some ideas from a quiet year when I was doing this. We started with a cup of rice and now we're here.
Yep.
Now you're caught up. Okay, so I'm going to say a giant could probably make it to here. So we're going to make another giant settlement over there. Probably have a giant settlement by the coast for things like fishing.
Mm-hmm.
We'll probably find some like area of plains. So like out here for farming. And then we've got plenty of mountains, forests, and everything in their area. So now I'm going to draw a line around it and say that this is the geographic area of kind of giant territory, as it were.
Oh. I'm laughing at the little paw that just tapped your leg.
Yeah. She had to do a little please pause because she thinks it's time to eat when it's not, you bullshitter. Yeah, you can love me as much as you like. No, it's not. She's like yelling at me, like, hey, you want to be? You know what happens if you play around, you get to come up in the exploitation zone, and then everyone has to see your little beans.
Oh, free beans.
No, Mumsy, no.
Mumsy.
Well, because like my wife is mother, and when I transitioned, father didn't fit anymore. But since my name is Adzi, we went with Mumsy for me.
Mumsy, it's food time. Mumsy.
Yeah. At some point, we landed on the fact that
you've definitely set your cat up to be like a starving orphan child.
Mumsy, it is time for food.
Mumsy.
If you're really good, I'll feed you at the break. If you're bad, I won't feed you at all. Is your sister still in her cupboard? Probably.
All right.
Yeah, right before stream, Molly got in a cupboard, and we don't know where she is now.
We don't know what
She's
happened.
She's gone to Narnia. She's gone to find Mr. Tumnus.
How far do I think birds can get in a day?
Probably pretty far. We're gonna do the birds last for reasons. There's a reason I put bird people on here, and it was so that I could cover them at the end because I want to have fun with that. So elves. The elves are going to stick to their island. This is this island down here that I made for them.
Yep.
That is all elf territory over there. The Slender folk? I have a feeling that they would prefer to stick to their kind of region.
Right.
So... Oh, I see. Sorry, I just heard the sound of a cat growling and turned around to see the two of them having a stare down the middle of the floor.
Great.
Children! Behave yourselves.
Came back from Narnia with attitude.
Yeah, she gets into Mr. Tumnus's angry water. So, and whereas I've put like the boundaries of territory for the giants as sorry, did I get you with the angry water? As like the rivers. I'm not so keen on doing that for the slender folk because they're just going to walk right over them. Steppy steps. So they'll probably have made it as far out as here. So I'm going to give that little capital to them. And we're going to say that they have some little places down here by the rivers, up here by this little marsh here. So just chilling out. And then for the humans go where they need to, really. There's some good fishing down here. Humans have this weird thing we do where we just sort of wander. And then when people don't come back, we don't go, well, Dave disappeared forever. Wonder what he found, and then we go after them. Right, like the South Pacific especially is like full of teeny tiny islands with like a bunch of cultural layers on them. So we know people made it out there, and in fact, most of them still have people living on them because when people find cultural artifacts and bring them back to their museum, they don't really, the people being my people, unfortunately, they don't often ask the people in the town next to it, hey, do you mind if we take this home? They just do it. So people have been living for generations on these teeny tiny islands, and they didn't get there, like, they got there via a lot of interesting ways, like being able to read where the currents were or being able to navigate by the stars. But they didn't know the islands were there when they first set out for them. So there's a non-zero amount of skeletons or like bones in the ocean where people were just like, hey, we found this amazing island a couple of generations back. Let's keep going in this direction, see what we find, and just went out to Point Nemo, right? Like it never came back. And then we didn't think, oh man, okay, we have to never leave our island ever again. We went, oh, they probably found somewhere really amazing.
Yeah, we've all seen Moana.
Yeah. I haven't seen Moana.
Well, they leave an island.
I have seen one. Yeah, right. Like, what apocryphally also known as Mad Penguin theory. We'll get there. Bunch of researchers were like raising penguins and noticed that some of them would just bugger off on like off the trail, and like even when they were physically brought back, they were like, "Nah, I'm gonna go out here." Just how different animals find their way home. We eat everything we can, then we find somewhere new. All right. So I've made a whole bunch of human settlements because I think that's the trait.
All right,
I'm going to give to humans.
Go kind of look for like out a day-ish, and then there's another little place I put.
So with humans, I go out a day and then out another day. Like that's because the thing I decided with humans is they just keep running. Whereas with giants, they would kind of find somewhere to settle and just sort of chill out there because they can reach everything around them. Whereas humans just be like, nah, we gotta make more places, more things. Gotta keep finding sheep. Give them more sheep. Wood for sheep. Humans, the story of the human race is one of playing Catan forever. IRL.
I don't want to live in that world.
Unfortunately, you live in that world.
No!
Except instead of wood for sheep, it's oil for corn.
Can make oil from corn?
Own the means of production? Man, I would love to play a game of Catan where, like, your workers just revolted halfway through. And then the other half of it is basically playing a game where you have to, like, get off the island as soon as possible before you're beheaded.
That game's called Puerto Rico. I'm kidding.
Oh yeah, it is
The
called Puerto
workers
Rico.
don't rebel in that game.
They don't rebel, but yeah, like it's a good game.
Uh,
I'm just going to create this giant land area and keep throwing humans at it. Suzerainty from Disco Elysium? Yeah.
yeah.
Look, I'm serious in the fact that I would absolutely play Suzerainty. In fact, I do play Suzerainty. It's called Twilight Imperium 4, and it's fantastic. Yeah, TI4.
I guess. Yeah.
Why you give me the face?
What? That
Why you love this face?
Twilight Imperium is the closest real world analog to a game that actually exists instead of just a mushed together thing that they made for Disco Elysium and only described in text.
Yeah, especially when like the description for that game goes on forever, and they're clearly just sitting like if you did what I did, they're just in the bookshelf.
Yeah.
So in the bookstore, they're sitting inside this bookstore for hours and hours and hours, just sitting on the floor playing this game between them.
No, I made them
And
go outside.
Oh no, I had them do it in the middle of the bookstore. Like I really want that fan art of just like the two of them, Harry and
Kim.
Why couldn't I remember Kim's name? Harry and Kim just sat playing Suzerainty for hours and hours and hours.
Yeah. And that's how
Yeah.
the murder got solved.
Yeah. There's downtime between murders. Well, a murder.
There could be
And
more
then-
than one murder.
Well, and then it's a murder and then a series of them that bookend the game. Disco Elysium is a fantastic game. That's it. That's the tweet.
Ship it.
Ship it. Okay, so now we've got our bird people
Yeah.
for the end of our first stage, and I'm going to say that the bird people can just go wherever they want because
Ooh.
they can fly. But obviously, the thing about flight is that if you're just a bird person and flying, you also have to carry things, which means you either have to be really, really big, or you have to work as a team, or you have to rely on other peoples to help you out.
Teamwork.
And teamwork? Okay, we're gonna work with
Yep.
teamwork.
James and the
birds?
Giant Peach it.
Yeah. I haven't thought about that movie in forever. And now it's all I can think of.
So many seagulls.
So many seagulls. I'm pretty sure I had nightmares in stop motion as a kid because of that movie.
There's lots of movies that could do that.
Yeah.
To a child.
Like I'm sure a lot of people have the same kind of traumatic experience with Watership Down because their parents saw it in the video store and were like, "Oh, hey, it's a movie with bunnies on it. Let's just buy that for our kids."
We had a TV series.
Farthingwood.
No, we did. We Watership Down.
Oh, you actually had the Watership Down TV. Yeah, we had Animals of Farthingwood, which was boy, that show was bleak.
Secret of Nim, I think, would have been the nightmare fuel for me.
I haven't seen it.
The Brave Little Toaster.
The Brave Little Toaster, yeah.
We're back.
man.
Ugh.
We're back. A dinosaur story.
Yeah.
Are we
Screw
rolling back
Eyes.
the rock?
Oh my god.
Roll back the rock to the dawn of time.
Sing the song with me. Yeah.
The song with me. Yeah, there was like just a giant period in the 90s where his name has fallen out of my head. Sully from Monsters Inc. That dude just got so much work.
John Goodman.
John Goodman, because he was also in the Flintstones. Yeah, the contract sign here.
Ugh.
Don Bluth did hate Disney, which is weird that he went and made Anastasia at the end of his kind of studio time. He was also in The Big Lebowski.
Famous children's movie. The Big
Famous
Lebowski.
Big Lebowski?
Yeah.
I mean, it deals with themes that children could certainly use,
Like the
like
Vietnam War.
like the Vietnam War, respecting the goddamn rules.
Shutting up.
Yeah. Feng Shui. Like trying to nihilism. Thank you, Renta42. All right, so we've put our peoples on the map. There is just one group of people that you gave me that I haven't put anywhere yet, because we're done with age 1, where people get along or at least leave each other alone.
Oh.
Now it's time for age 2. So
Dawn of the Second Age.
Dong. So this is typically where whenever I'm writing, I try and bring in like initial conflict, where there's a reason why one group of people would need something and the other group of people also needs it, and they fail to solve it amicably. So right now, I think the biggest thing that's going to happen is that the birds are all up in here, the giants are all up in here. There's going to be some sort of Prometheus nonsense happening.
The movie Prometheus?
No, the myth Prometheus.
Where the birds just eat his liver?
Yeah. Look, if you're gonna steal from the best. And the Greeks were the best at writing weird shit. So I'm gonna put some birds up on this mountain over here.
Oh, fighting.
Yep. And I'm going to put some giants down here by these mountains. Or by these lakes. And I'm going to add a ruin here. This giant settlement is going to be a ruin.
Oh.
So this is where I'll decide what my ruin is going to look like.
Yep.
So you don't ruin capitals as a rule. But I'm also going to put a ruin up here in this mountain area.
Could you do me a favor and
Yes.
hold
and
your
ink them?
Well, hold your map up for the big camera.
Yeah.
Other one.
Oh, other one?
Yeah.
Yep.
Hey!
There you go.
Thank you. That looks
So yeah,
good.
Yeah.
All right.
So we have fun. And I'm also going to put the birds out on this island over here.
Bird Island.
Bird Island. As for the Thunderfolk and the humans, I think there's going to immediately be some weird friction there. Because humans, but very, very, very tall and very, very long and very, very weird.
It's only the stuff nightmares are made of.
Yeah. No, ruined capitals are for the 4th age. We'll get there. It's only 4 ages, by the way. I'm not gonna take us through like cycles of myth here. So part 2, we'll continue with wars, right? There we are. So I'm gonna put a ruin here on the border. I'll put one over here on the other side of this lake. I'll kick them off. Kick the humans off here. Put some Thunderfolk on it.
Mm-hmm.
As for the elves, this is where I'm going to introduce those concept forms. Because I'm going to say the elves don't leave their homeland, they just send their like little little doodads off to explore for them.
The little concept forms.
If one race went extinct, which should it be? That's going to be part 3. We'll get there. So they're just going to make a line to interesting places. Because they're explorers, they look for things that are cool and interesting. They're very curious. All right, am I done playing around with this for now? I think so. So, part 3? 3 fingers, that's the right number. I was like, part 3. Wait. Part 3.
Wait.
So in Arizona, that means something else. In Arizona, that's the Sun Devils thing.
And what do Sun Devils do in their free time?
It's the ASU sports teams.
Okay.
The Sun Devils are the hockey team. Yeah, sorry. Hockey team or basketball team? One of the two. Okay. I apologize. So
don't apologize for sports.
It knows what it did. So we have our key places, and now we're going to figure out things like plots and plans. So we've had wars, so now we have heroes. Like we have wizard towers and things like that.
Ooh.
So we're going to find somewhere which looks like it would be a really great place to put a tower or a monument. Humans like living on top of mountains. So, and you know, there's a lake right out here which is just yearning to spit in the face of God and man. So we're going to put an artificial island in the middle of the lake. This is where we're going to get rid of the elves.
What happened to them?
They were the thing I didn't make much of on the map. So instead I'm going to replace their capital with a ruin and put concept forms on there. So now I have this little generated story where the elves kind of explored this whole area with their little concept forms and then sort of died out at home. And then we can play all sorts of fun things with that later on. The lake ate them. This, by the way, is how I make worlds in a quick and dirty fashion. Like you can spend hours and hours and hours on this. We only have 3 hours, so I'm kind of moving whistle stop here. I will give you here's one I made earlier in a minute.
Ooh.
Yeah. I'm going to put a monument out on here. Some sort of strange ziggurat or pyramid around where the giants are. Build like a platform city up here for the burbs.
The burbs.
Put more burbs here. Say the Slenderfolk build something really weird out here. I like that one of our races is basically just a species of cryptids.
Yeah.
And I'm just sort of drawing shapes now and kind of turning them into buildings.
Okay.
That's how I draw runes, by the way. This is like a bunch of cross-hatched boxes. I put a lighthouse out here because this looks like the kind of place you put a lighthouse.
Welcome, Raiders.
Welcome, more raiders. Oh, there's so many.
There's only technically 12 of them.
Say cult, we say yippee. Have those seeds.
We don't have seeds, we have rice.
Verbs. Oh, clay pigeon.
Hey, pigeon, want some uncooked rice?
Please, birds. Please sup of this grain. Sup of this grain.
Get all bloaty and explode. It's not true.
Some of this grain, Caleb. That's a Mabimbo reference that I just realized is like 4 years old. And from a live show, so no one listened to it. This one person was trying to figure out like how to like whether he could put like a whole ass loaf of bread out for birds. And one of the three of them, I can't remember, probably Griffin, went off on like this whole thing of, ground child, we accept your gift. Yeah. And now there shall be no more war between the ground children and the sky people. Sup of this grain, Caleb. It made me laugh very hard. All right. So now we have something that looks like this.
Yay!
So finally, fourth age.
Yay!
Start building roads.
Roads. Infrastructure.
Yep.
Waterways.
And
so many aqueducts.
With dotted lines.
Dotted lines.
And your I find that it works best when communities in the age your players start are at relative peace, asterisk. Because it's more interesting to see a war start, typically, unless it's been going on for like 1,000 years.
Right.
I've done both of these things, but I know which one I prefer. Yes. Did you see that?
The little paw?
the little beans?
Mumsy, you're doing something that's not paying attention to me.
Yeah. Please. Please come and feed me. My little beans are perishing away.
Starving. Wasting away.
Your child starves. Do you not love me, Mumsy?
The crab rangoon.
The rangoons, mother. I love that little cheetah cub picture so much.
I had to find it yesterday because one of my friends posted a link to... I can find this very quickly. Oh god, what channel is it in? Oh, so many channels. Frickin' people. No, it wasn't the macaroni and cheese. Ice cream.
Macaroni.
Buffalo Chicken Rangoon. Yes, for Super Bowl.
Buffalo Chicken Rangoon?
Yeah.
What in the name of cultural appropriation is this?
No! Let it happen. Just let it happen.
White people ain't ready for that kind of spice.
But how do we know buffalo were spicy?
I mean, maybe that's why, like, if I get charged by a giant cow, I'm not going to try and taste it. We just
Quitter
believe the
talk.
first guy
Skill
who decided
issue.
we just believe the first guy who tried to taste a buffalo and survived. We don't even know he was the guy who tasted the buffalo.
So like a Skittles commercial. Taste the buffalo, taste the rainbow.
Taste the buffalo. Taste the horn. Crave the pain bow. Asterisk. Do not crave the pain bow. All right, I think that's where I've gotten to on my main roads. So here we have.
Cha-ching.
I'm gonna hold out to the main counter here.
Yes.
Here we have our finished map. Oh.
So cool. Mine's still a little lackluster, but my recommendation for people trying this at home is don't just spill paint onto your work surface.
No, I disagree. Get weird with it.
I don't want to.
If at first you don't succeed, find out why. Try again.
What do you mean find out why?
That's the part of if at first you don't succeed, everyone forgets, right? Like if at first you don't succeed, don't do it exactly the same way again. Figure out why and then do it.
I think it's if at first you don't succeed, shame on you.
If at first you don't succeed, it wasn't meant to be. Sorry, former gifted kid. Hi, highlight reel. Oh, chat's mad.
I'm just trying to work through all the tears in my eyes.
Oh, I upset chat.
Oh.
Please don't ban me. I want to come back. I'm sorry.
They came here to have fun.
They come here to have fun, and I just absolutely shit directly in their open mouths. That's what we're doing today, I guess. So, what are you going to do for the final episode of Can't Draw Horses Club, Corey? I'm just going to sit here and cry for the rest of it.
Can't even. Are you making your key nice?
I am. Well, I'm making it legible.
Nice?
Nice, asterisk.
Yeah.
Yes, hello, child. Alright, there we go. This is a bit raggedy because I made the thing too small and didn't notice till later. It's okay. We can write it. Oh, we need a name for this place.
Oh. Slenderland.
We go to Adam to be bullied, not the art. Once upon a time, that was my name. That name is lost to me, and its curse yet remains.
Yeah.
What do we want to call? I got your silence right here. What do you want to call this world that I've made, chat? I will take whatever people want to recommend.
All right. We're starting with island.
Island.
Yeah.
Well, it's an island. Okay.
What about chat slint?
Chatsland.
Slint, like silent but spelled wrong.
Chatsland.
Chatslint.
Chattlesland.
Chattlesons.
Yeah, there it is. The Island of Woe. Let's call it your grave.
Yeah, sorry, Magic Cap. Chat wasn't silent. Chat was in recovery.
Woes of the former gifted child. Rice Home. Hey, there it is. I love that.
You love
Rice
Rice
Home.
Home. I love Rice
love
Home
Rice Home.
too.
It's going nice and big on the top. All right, friends. Welcome to Rice Home.
Boom.
Home of the gifted kids.
Still devastating.
Still devastating. I know. Look, I know this person because I am them, right? Like, I'm gonna roll this up, and because maps come in scrolls, that's how you do it. And I have this real cheap twine that I got.
Only the most cheapest.
Only the most cheapest. The cheaper the twine, the better, honestly. That's only half a joke. Because that antique look just looks better with crappier string.
Do you do any, like, extra aging?
No, that's why I buy crappy string and crappy vellum. Is so that I don't have to, because like you can do the old teabag method, where you just take a used teabag and coriander.
Yeah, you just I think you can use coffee too, right?
Yeah, or coffee grounds. There we go. And I have created this. Now imagine giving this to your players. And imagine the faces you would get at your table if you did that. That's what I live for, honestly. Just the nice roll of cat toy, yeah. It's what I love about just being like, my players like, oh man, how are we going to explore this area? And I'm just like, hup.
They're like, where did that come from? And now you've displayed all your secrets on the internet, so they don't even have to ask anymore. They'll expect it.
My players already know to expect a map. They already know to expect handmade things. Like my hang on. We're playing show and tell now.
Oh.
My players know that when I'm like, you find a cursed artifact, they know I'm going to reach into my bag and hand them something like
Crown Royal.
Yeah, reach into the Crown Royal bag. I'm just going to be like, okay, you find this cursed artifact, and I'm just going to hand them something like this. Which is
I don't know if I'd call that cursed. That's awesome.
Yeah, this is from the H.R. Geiger collection of Mini Monster Mayhem, which you can get on My Mini Factory. I want to ask more about your cult. Well, basically, you give me money and it's all tax exempt. That's the cult. Or when, when I'm like, here, have this, and then I can also use, for instance, that statue is part of a basic like ARG thing, where using another piece of vellum and lining up a torch on it, you figure out like the passcode to like a temple by seeing where the shadows fall on the from the.
And you've actually done this?
Mm-hmm.
Too much. Too much. Making the rest of us look bad.
I like the theater of the mind, but I also like the theater of the table. It's a tiny stage where I can wreak whatever havoc I like.
The theater of the table. It's a tiny stage. It's hard to work in the round like that.
Yeah, yeah. You're working in the round for a rapt audience of 5 people, all of which will listen to every word you don't say, and chase cats down alleyways.
Yeah.
You know who you are, Brindley. All right. Do we want to like I said, I didn't realize that I didn't have as much content as I did. Do we want to do another one? What
Or
do
we
want
can
to do?
stop and have a nap.
Stop and have a nap. That is true.
Yes, before the next stream.
Yeah. Well, I'm not going to be on the next stream because
Well,
I'm not fortunate enough to work at Loading Ready Run yet. But uh
I think this is actually an okay part to stop, unless
Yeah.
people in the chat have like specific questions about world building and not about teabags, Lord Hosk.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh. Yeah, actually, seriously, if anyone has questions about world building or D&D. Oh, yes, I said I would show you. Here's one I made earlier.
Yes.
So here's what a world looks like, and I'm going to switch the camera over to my screen as soon as I have it open, so you can't see all of my plots and plans and ideas
I'll just
and shit posts.
boof, and then depending on which screen.
Throw in screen 2 here. So, because I also have map making software.
What do you use?
I use, what is it called? I've actually forgotten what it's called.
Wonderdraft?
Wonderdraft, yes.
Yeah.
Like I forgot what the thing is called. So yeah, now you can see on the screen now. This is Dean. This is the world I play with my players in. So I'm just gonna leave. I can't see the screen right now because it's behind that.
Yeah.
But yeah,
enhance.
So let's go. Let's start from the top, where this starts at cold and goes to hot, is what I decided. Like it's a strip of land on a world in which there is cold at one extreme and hot at the other. So I started with my elves here, where they are basically having their bad time industrial revolution. My tieflings over here, which are currently dealing with the fact a literal gate to hell opened up in the middle of their island. The dwarves, which hold the Dwerhold Mountains, and have been at war with the elves for as long as anyone can remember. So much that their entire society is basically built around it. Eastern Sea, where I stole from Warhammer Fantasy the idea of vampire pirates because I thought that was really, really cool. Like, if they just dive deep enough, they don't have to worry about the sun.
That's yeah.
They don't have to breathe.
Yeah. Definitely less horrifying than if it's vampires in the deep ocean.
Yeah, so the Eastern Sea is vampires in the deep ocean, and then like the free buccaneers of East Shore. Yeah, there's like a little pirate war going on down here. Oroki, which are orc and lizard men kind of digs the forest here. There's a lot of ruins out here of previous people. Don't think about it. Don't think about it. Don't go there. It's fine. The Spine. Don't go to the Spine. We don't go to the Spine. All my friends hate the Spine. Leave the Spine alone. I have a group of players who went into the spine, went underground, and didn't come out.
Sounds like a fun place. We should all explore it.
Yeah, yeah.
Go in the caves.
Hyrdine, which is like English Civil War royalist territory. Middle Dean, which is Free Guild territory. Knock-in, which is basically what if feudal Japan, but gnomes.
But also Bogport.
Yes, Bogport is the only trading port allowed with the outside world because it's a port in a bog in the worst part of the island, and that's where they allow the foreigners to come trade. Adzi did a lot of reading of the first few pages of a lot of textbooks to build this world. Oops.
None of your cities are called in this essay.
No, none of my cities are called in this essay. I will. Right, there we go. I was like, why am I only seeing this part? Lower Dean, which is the parliamentarian part of the English Civil War area. Nominally at war with Higher Dean, but they don't get to do much about it. Sea of Beasts, where there used to be a gigantic empire. It's now Waiola, which is where the halflings live. Borderlands, which is where the last of the Goliath Empire lives. Or really the last of the Goliaths post-Empire. And Taba, the Tabaxi Desert. And then the Deep Desert beyond.
The giant litter box.
Yeah. Yeah, the kitties live in the litter box. That was actually the thought I had when making that.
We all know they would.
Yeah. Hills and Mountains and Plains of Silence, which was a line from a Mad Max game that I thought sounded really cool. And apparently describes Antarctica or the Arctic very, very well.
Yep.
Yeah, so there you go. This map started the same way as the others, with just rice and a dream. And this is what it can look like when you're done with it. So, yeah, I hope that's illustrative of, like, I didn't make this up just for the thing. Hold on, let me read the chat because there are questions about this world now. Oh, is the cult separate from the Patreon? Is it like a benefit? No, the cult is part of the Patreon. The Patreon is part of the cult. It's long line of islands, one after the other, in a sort of chain, along with large islands referred to as the mainland. Any of us are building out interesting, unique cultures on each island and lodging out how they got their current state of general trade and neutral positive relations. Read the book when it comes out, Crab. You helped write it. So Crab is referring to the Crab Goddess is referring to a book that they and I wrote, which hopefully will be released later this year. But honestly, like if you wanted to build an archipelago civilization, I'm actually going to answer the question in the manner it was supposed to be received here. An archipelago civilization should have a point at which like everyone can go to, which is either nominally going to be the mainland or the like some point in the middle where there's a lot of fresh water. Like you'll have a larger island somewhere in the middle, which is yeah, almost like you're being a shitter, right? Yeah, thanks, Crab. I would take inspiration from like I don't know what the actual name for them is. I refuse to call them the Cook Islands, but that area, the Bay of Islands in Aotearoa, some areas of the South Pacific as well. Like I would look at real world examples for that to try and figure out where things are. Are the halflings descended from the Empire or just happen to live where the Empire once was? Yes and yes. The halflings are not direct descendants of the Empire. The direct descendants of the Empire now live in the Borderlands. But they were, without diving deep into my magical forest here, a lot of the, from whence there is no return, a lot of the different peoples came from, a lot of different peoples came from the Goliaths needing like slave races or servant races to do things for them, and them sort of going out on their own after the end of after Empire finally fell. The halflings were an in production group of people that managed to survive by dint of being very, very small when the empire itself collapsed in the Arcanicalism, which is what I called the big bad horrible thing that happened. Silly over serious question. If the land is great of hot on one end and cold on the other, are there strong trade winds in one direction that suit the land? Yes! That's part
Feature?
of that's a feature of the Eastern Sea, is that the southward winds are always stronger. Sorry, northward winds are always stronger. And so you can build it. You like the dead drift towards Zenemar, which is where they can be raised as legions. Like the prevailing current goes from East Shore to Zenemar.
So instead of like a forestry industry using the tides, it's a necromancy industry.
Yeah, the dry court is not a fun society to live under, which is where. What point do pantheons start to appear in your building? After setting up races and landmasses? Usually during it. I didn't want to get into the theological nonsense of it, because I usually add the gods in last, or from ideas that I have while I'm building them. And since this was kind of a whistle-stop tour version of it, I didn't want to kind of immediately stop drawing the map to go on a 10-minute rant about like how to build theological groups and things like pilgrimage trails and cultural mythos around that, instead of just going like, cool, here's where these disparate peoples live, and here's the kind of what's the word, less theological reason they would start fighting. But yeah, you can start with gods, you can end with gods, you can have gods anywhere in the middle. Basically, the place I figure out where it's time to put a god in is where, like, there's room here. It's like, why do these people come here? Oh, the god told them to.
God's a crazy penguin.
Yeah, God is a crazy penguin. You can make a religion out of don't. That's my favorite part of that video. You can make a religion out of this, please don't. The sun is a deadly laser.
Stop having it be closed.
Yeah, open the country. Stop having it be closed. Boats, guns, gunboats. With clocks and guns and Jesus. Yeah, I could, don't start me on that. I will quote that all day. Yeah, do you live in Arizona? You want to come out? No. Why? The sun is a deadly laser.
Yeah.
Yep.
I feel that. Well, I think we're at a good point actually to stop.
I think so too. I managed to fill 2 hours of your time and give everyone PTSD flashbacks to middle school, so I apologize for everyone.
No, it's coming back again. No. No. All right. So, if people wanted to talk to you about anything that may have occurred on the stream, any words you said,
send your angry emails too. So you can join the Patreon at patreon.com/AdzianJane. You can check out our comics. I'm just gonna throw them right in the chat.
Yeah.
At AdzianJaneComics.com. You can nominally hit me up on Mastodon, but I can't promise I'll respond. You can check out USX. I'm not going to advertise USXW here.
Right.
You can check out Arcana Watch. And you can. Yeah, you can jump on the Discord from any of those places, because there's links, and we are very active in our Discord. So we love seeing people. We love meeting people. We love being here. We love you. I hope. Once again, I hope I haven't poisoned the well so that we can never come back. We're traumatizing chat multiple times. We're gonna come off the stream and Corey's just gonna tear a strip out of me for 30 minutes, and then I'll just go cry.
That's what I'm
You
like.
wouldn't do that. Yeah.
Yeah.
But no, like seriously, thank you so much for having us. I
You and
don't
the
think chat
cats?
saw that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for having us, me and the cats, and like letting me do this little fun thing with you guys. Send negative comments to Azzy Jade, CBC, Maine, Ontario, Canada.
HOH, OHO.
HOH. No,
Yeah. Goodbye, everybody.
Bye.
And we're going